on the Lambo. You saw us fit some EGT sensors in the last episode. And now, I guess, kind of the semi more miserable bit where we actually try and fit this.
We fit the Haltech.
The actual Nexus R5 ECU PDM.
What's it called? QVC.
First things first, get a seat out.
Done that a few times.
And I guess just get access to all the wiring and the existing ECUs that sit behind it.
For those that don't know, it's behind the passenger seat.
Yeah. Got your desk.
Got everything in at the moment.
It doesn't look like that much.
I mean, it's what is it? 70 connections.
Just 70.
No, I don't think it's that much. It's over 50 though. I think.
Yeah, but the fact that this existed before as the Emerald adaptation loom to the standard,
that's saved us a lot of time.
Engine loom. That is basically
it's basically repinning it.
Yeah.
Apart from the core wiring, which I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Because it was running the coils as batch fired.
Yeah.
They're joined together.
Yeah.
2 at a time. So I've got to
repin a few things.
Coils, basically, but apart from that.
Yeah. We'll have it running this afternoon, right?
Maybe not.
It's all looking very serious.
I mean, I'm feeling a bit serious.
We have power.
We have.
And we have.
I mean, the nice thing about this one is it powers itself from the USB, so you can set it up.
Oh, of course. Oh, right. Okay. Excellent.
But, yeah, I didn't realise that before I plugged it all in.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird thing, this, because essentially we have this incredibly posh PDM ECU back here, and it's surrounded by loads of old school wiring and fuses and stuff like that. So it's kind of a bit backwards, but we're just trying to, basically we're being lazy, aren't we?
Well, it runs 2 throttles. It runs 12 cylinders sequentially, it does the job.
Yeah. But yeah, this will all be tidied up, and it is a bit of a shame to hide the Haltech all the way back here, because it is a nice thing, and there's actually some lights on it that are quite useful sometimes, but there is literally no other place to put that in this car. As you are probably aware, the cabin in these things is, suffers from space a little bit as it is, so yeah, but looking real good. We are doing the basics.
We're telling it what's on the end of every wire, which I planned out here.
Which is...
There's a few connections.
You've done a pretty fantastic looking job there, I've got to say.
I mean, let's wait till it starts.
Yeah,
or at least splutters.
And then once that's in, we basically tell it how many cylinders,
We've done that,
injector size,
and we turn the key and hope smoke comes out of that.
No smoke.
I've already texted Luke and said, do these coil settings look right? And he says it's going to be all right.
Okay, so coils we're good for.
Yeah.
Injectors we still need to put in. I guess we need to do the throttle motors.
Yeah, it's all pinned out. I mean, we can plug it in and see how it all moves.
Yeah.
We could probably go for it.
Yeah. Go for it, as in like...
let's see how the first bit goes then.
Okay. Let's have a go at this bit then. Okay, throttle pedal's calibrated. Now we're going to see whether we can get these things to move. Happy?
No.
No. 2 times error.
So what part is it erroring on?
John is back here in a moment. Let's see if we can get a readout of what the voltage is on one of the 17 TPSs.
Yeah.
There's actually only 4, but yeah.
So TPS sitting at CPS 1 is sitting at 0.7.48 volts. So what is the cutoff?
I've got to say, I've been using the Haltech NSP on the 964, having a look at boost settings, because I've just changed that to a 4.0 a 4-port boost solenoid, so I'm having to learn how to use it on that. But yeah, it is quite a powerful bit of kit, really, isn't it?
It is.
Got a nice.
I think this only shows one motor, doesn't it?
So you can add it in, I think.
Yeah.
I think you go right click and. So we had a bit of an issue with an extremely strange trigger pattern.
We had one that wasn't in Haltech drop-down boxes.
Which was 36:4.
36:4 with different size spacing. Same as a K series Rover.
Yeah, because you know we're all about the Rover life when it comes to Lamborghinis.
Well, you know, in Birmingham, I suppose. Longbridge's finest.
But so what's just happened today? Because basically we sent
the guys in Australia.
Yeah.
As requested by Luke and Mark here.
Yeah.
And it had been a couple of days over the weekend, and I was like, ugh. And I got an email this morning saying we updated the firmware yesterday. It has Gallardo trigger pattern now. Load that.
And what happens when you load that?
Good things.
That starts quickly. 1 sec. Leave it on. There you go. The quiet mode.
Oh, I didn't know it was.
That's running really nicely.
It is.
But we have no throttle still.
Yeah. But, you know,
that's a big awesome from me. And it's 11, half, 11, 9.
I mean, there's no map in this. This is just how it comes out of the box.
Pretty incredible to be able to just do that and turn it on.
I'm quite happy with that.
Because what you haven't seen is probably, well, you've missed
3 days of messing about.
At least 3 days of messing about and trying to sort stuff. But yeah, that's mega. I'm super happy. So we believe we know what we've got to do with the throttles.
The Scott in Australia has said to wire both TPS signals to one sensor.
Yeah.
If that calibrates, you know it's a sensor problem. If
Right.
it doesn't, there's another problem. So
Okay.
That's what we're going to do for now.
Because there is a question whether it's got the chutzpah to actually move the motors and calibrate them correctly. Because they move fine, don't they, as you saw?
And the ECU's rated for an 8 amp output.
Yeah.
The throttle motors are rated at 8 amps. So
Yeah.
hopefully.
Should be good. And look at that. On the firewall, we have the EGT boxes.
Yeah. Do they line up to your eyes?
They do.
I mean, don't look too close.
Well, as I said to you yesterday, you have to choose, and it's all your responsibility.
Well, I thought line up.
But the engine is offset, and I think that looks way better, sort of matching the engine rather than the car body. And now, I mean, people will be horrified about seeing this on my carbon spoiler.
Put some tape there. And also, viewers, which is red and which is yellow?
Oh yeah, because Jay, the most colourblind person on the planet,
Yeah, but come on.
red and yellow is the worst.
No, green and red. But,
How is it?
But and on camera, they look. That one looks red to me, and that one looks yellow. But
Yeah.
in real life, it's potluck.
Well, I've had to approve a couple of them, but yeah, you can kind of tell. I did these. I shortened all of these on the 964 Turbo, and I remember it was quite a challenge. But you have 6 more to do than me.
Yeah, I've done almost 5.
Yeah.
But then carried away.
So
with getting
rest of the day now.
Yeah.
Sweet, but that's mega progress. Loving it. Go. So we think we finally got to the bottom of the throttle motors.
My goodness me, that's been a battle. As you can see, different clothes again.
And I think we skipped out a day, haven't we? It's another two days since we last filmed.
Day.
We didn't film
yesterday.
yet. Yeah, but
we got it running yesterday.
yeah.
And we've been battling to try and get the throttle motors to work. Hang on, Webby's shouting.
Webby's shouting over there
With
somewhere.
his noise cancelling headphones on, shouting at his phone.
Webby!
Yeah.
So yes, now we have motors that move correctly. Just a setting, there's basically well, I say set correctly, but you saw that wobble there, it needs some dampening.
Swap TPSs.
Yeah, that's the main
we've
thing.
got-
Battled out.
So we've got Haltech TPSs now on the back of the Gen V motors.
Yeah. still got BMW on the other end of each one of these rails.
Because they don't line up.
Yeah.
Because we were going to run 4 sensors the same, but we can't because the sweep's wrong. So
yeah,
that's how that ended up.
But yeah, getting down the front part of that engine, loads and loads of fun. But we've done a calibration now. We have the throttles moving fast. Yeah, watch this. As I say, the bottom part, you can clearly see it needs some damping down there to stop that rattle as it drops down to there. But I believe that that's just a setting like, I think it's probably whatever the opposite of tip in is, it's tip out.
So we're going to see if it runs. If it doesn't run, we're going to give it some more fuel.
Yeah, I think we have clear.
Quite exhaust on?
Yes, it was, or if it was, yeah, left it on there. Go.
Nothing's in the way, is it?
No, all good. More fuel, because yeah, when we had it running the other day, because of the fault with the TPS and motors, it thought that it was on 50% throttle, so it had loads of fuel being chucked in there. So, and now that it knows that it's not on 50% throttle, it's going to need quite a bit adding. So
let's see what this does.
Nah.
Oh, come on. You did it properly a minute ago and the camera wasn't on.
It's coming off the ramp.
I mean, it's been a while.
Yeah, I mean, not for any like massively positive reason just yet. More because I've got to do the miserable job.
Oh, we could talk about positives. It runs.
It does run, and I think it's going relatively well. But as with everything on this project, it's just a little bit more time-consuming than we originally thought it would be.
Everything needs to be learned.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
And we've changed our mind once again. So we've decided the complexity of the ITB setup on this. The miserable job I'm about to do is we're going to back the car outside, point the exhaust roughly outside, and I'm going to balance the throttle bodies individually without the throttle motors connected, because then we know mechanically everything to do with the engine is symmetrical, is the same. So I'm going to do that as best as possible. It honestly is absolutely miserable. You're basically lying over the heat of the exhaust manifolds for an hour or an hour and a half last time I did it.
Well, at least it's gone back to winter today.
Yeah. So I'm going to get that done. But yes, in addition to that, we've decided that we're going to fit an idle control valve, which wiring-wise, no problem.
No problem.
But
Wiring-wise, more of a problem because the E46 M3s would have used these ports that are welded up for idle control.
And a single one is no good to us. And obviously, if those were there anyway,
they'd upset your eyes.
Yeah, they wouldn't be going there because they're ugly. So what we're going to do is, what would be massively beneficial is linking the two banks properly for vacuum for a couple of reasons. One of those is we have decided that it needs to be mapped properly as VE, volumetric efficiency.
So we need a proper map sensor.
So yeah, we need
situation
which needs to be linked. But number two, obviously balancing those two pipes with an idle control valve would be a much better way of getting idle, rather than at the limit of closed butterflies. Each individual butterfly in this does an impossible level of inaccuracy, and with the best will in the world of me balancing these out, they will never do exactly the same CFM per cylinder.
I mean, we've also got the hope that this pulls enough vacuum for a map reading.
Yeah. Which it will.
You know, ITBs are a bit funny with map sensors.
Yeah, basically that's what we've come to not realise, just remember, is that ITBs on an NA engine, although the coolest thing on the planet, they're an absolute bloody nightmare.
And when you've got two sets, it's doubly as bad.
And two sets of homemadeness as well. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to get this off. I'm going to do the miserable bit, and then hopefully we can crack on with the, I want to say fun, but probably not that much more fun. Yeah. Right, I think we're about as set up as we're going to be. I've got my oxygen, my cold air feed, which basically as I lean over here, the idea is it doesn't circulate exhaust fumes and push them back in my face. And I have undone everything on the link bar, so all of these little ones are undone after we've removed the trumpets, obviously the stacks. All of these are loose. All I've got to do now is the locking nut there and the screw there. And I've got to start with, this one's the one that the bar's attached to here. This is where the linkage is normally operated by the motor. I've basically got to put that on there, or whichever way around. If I fancy being precise, I can do it like that, but I'll just put it on a little bit as I go. And then we'll be looking to get a rough figure from probably this bank, because it seems to run a bit better, match it with this, see what the idle is, see whether every single one of them needs bringing up a bit, and just feel it out. But yeah, got a little bit of heat insulation here, exhaust baffling.
Just to make you feel a bit better.
Yeah, well, it's one of them jobs where you feel like you got sunburn afterwards.
I mean, normally we do it on the hottest day of the year, from what I remember. The last 2 times it's been baking hot.
Yeah, let's give it a go, see what happens.
Let's see if it runs. I mean, it might not. Here for a while. How you feeling?
Glad that bit's over. It's not done, but that is surprisingly ridiculously hot.
You look quite red.
But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's the best we've ever got it on a mechanical balance.
So yeah, we're idling at what, 780, 790 RPM?
Yeah, and the idle for the car is 1000 RPM. So that sounds so smooth at 800. I'm super happy with that. The difficult bit now, so that I know exactly what I'm doing. The difficult bit now is how to tighten every single one of these linkage, these lever points on the rail here. This is the main rail. You've got to tighten every single one of these, and it's got a bolt on the bottom, not on the top. You've got to tighten it up without moving this even a tiny fraction of a degree, because if you do, it'll crack one of the others of the throttle. So I'm going to have a little breather, cool down a minute, maybe get some water.
Then we'll nip those up.
I'm going to attempt that. And with the joys of that, now we're just recalibrating our 4 TPSs.
Yay.
And we're actually having to physically move them for some reason, probably because we don't know what we're doing. But
they go out of range.
yeah, because we've just reset the length of the rods on the motor. But yeah, fingers crossed this works now. Calibrate, yeah.
That looks good.
But it says finished, good.
Yeah. Okay, let's do the other one as well.
I think it says good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does good. Let's see if the throttle works, then try the pedal.
Okay. So it's a fresh morning. Everything's good.
It's better.
It's definitely better. We managed to recalibrate the throttles, all the TPS, and actually, because this is now running smoother than it ever has at a relatively low idle, like 800 RPM, 850 RPM, we've decided not to bother with the idle control valve at the moment because it adds complication. We just might not need it, so we can add it later on if we need to. It's not going to affect the map really. So yeah, we're just still going to link these pipes though, because I think having these balancing properly between left and right would also be beneficial, and we're going to run a map sensor on it so we can tune VE. That's the plan.
Large people will have probably noticed we've only got one EGT box plugged in, because the wire's been dangling there this whole bit.
Yeah, so what have we learned?
We've learnt that you can't run 2 8-channel boxes on one CAT network, but they do an 8-channel box with different firmware that pretends to be a 4+4 box, which is what we need now.
Yeah,
so we need to swap a box basically.
So Haltech are very kindly swapping that box for us, and then we'll be able to plug that in and see all EGTs. But yeah, honestly, it's the smoothest it's ever run. I did give myself like I don't know whether we can, because we nearly run out of fuel. It was almost starving there. I guess fire it up and I'll show you.
We only got 1 litre of fuel according to
yeah. But yeah, honestly, it was a torturous process as normal, but I really got my head around it this time, and despite the actual burns that I got from doing it, it's honestly really good. So we're a little bit lean on idle at the moment, and it self-corrects in closed loop, but it takes a while for the lambdas to warm up, but even that is 820 RPM. And wait for the lambdas to click in. This is not on idle control at the moment, so there'll be a slight difference between the left and right AFRs there. But yeah, sounds awesome, sounds smooth, great success. Yeah, next job. Back on the old Haltech.
Back on it. Hopefully not making a mess. The other one's alright.
Shall I go and look at the other one?
Yeah, you can if you want.
Is it on the car?
Yeah.
Oh, that did come out well. I'm sure you remember the hump we were talking about at the beginning of the video. Very nice. Happy Monday. I came in over the weekend and finished off these pipes, which are to link together at the back. We ordered some stainless fittings for this, some stainless elbows and a T-piece. They weren't exactly the right size, but kind of we're running out of time, and because of the quality of my TIG welding, which is, you know, not exactly great, but I figured the only way I'm going to learn is by actually doing stuff on my own car. Got it all together. Little link pipe here, clear of the throttle motor, and then we've got the vacuum for the brake servo there. We've got fuel pressure sensors, those are tied up out the way and isolated, and it's running really nicely. But what we're going to do now is the absolute unthinkable.
Well, if we don't do it, Greg's going to.
Exactly.
So, you know, we need to compression test the thing.
Exactly. So, plugs are out, coils are off, plugs are out, and we've got trusty, not so trusty. This is less trusty and more depressing in my experience.
As long as they're all the same?
Yeah. So yeah, we won't worry too much about the number, but more whether they're the same. But yeah, 12 of these to do. That's going to be fun on a very hot engine.
Battery?
Yeah, I'm not going to video it because, you know, I'm not. Nobody wants to see me cry.
It is perfect. Is that what
yeah. Little upgrade. Ours wasn't the right thread. We don't do much of this. We hate compression testing.
We don't do it.
It always makes you sad.
Yeah, we never do this.
But Greg demands it, which is fair enough. Who's going to put the car on the dyno? He wants to know that the compression test results are at least within reason.
Really?
I said I wasn't going to film, but this is the last one, and this is the way this works. So they're all really good. We're kind of within 15 psi, which is kind of fine. But the last one's the one that always gets us, isn't it, Jack?
Yeah.
So, hit it. We won.
Sweet. I'm going to get the engine out.
So yeah, excuse my terrible left-handed handwriting. Don't do much writing anymore, and my handwriting was always bloody dreadful anyway. But yeah, we are kind of 155 to 165 on this side of the engine, and we've got number 9's 150 on this side, and then all the rest of them are 155. So actually, kind of see it as two separate engines. This so. If we see any discrepancies in EGTs or even AFRs between banks, you know, we can correct it. That is one of the wonderful things about having 12 EGT sensors and the accuracy that we put into putting them in exactly the same place. But yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with that. It's one of those things you dread, and like we always joke, we never do it unless we have to. But when you do it, I can't say I haven't, you know, thought about it for years. I've owned this car for this long and never done a compression test because of fear. But
well, you don't want to know.
No, you just don't because it's so fast anyway. Like often when you have a car that is relatively down on compression, before it was down on compression, you were pretty happy with it. It was pretty rapid.
It was
yeah. So yeah, but that's kind of why we have a bit of a reluctance to do it. But yeah, results are in. Results are good. Let's get to the dyno. So yeah, just plugs back in, coils back in, stacks back on. The trumpets.
Yeah.
What we've got to do, got a bit of config to do on the dash.
Yeah, we want to get the fuel pressure reading on the dash.
Yeah. And what else? Oh, we're still waiting for the other box for the EGTs from Haltech. So we're hoping that doesn't involve a run up to Haltech to collect it, but we'll see.
At this point, we've only got tomorrow.
Yeah. So yeah, it needs to be. This car needs to be together, running as best as we can, have it running by lunchtime tomorrow, really. So
on the trailer. Yeah,
fingers crossed. Successful?
I hope so. We'll find out tomorrow, won't we?
Yeah. Time to get it on the trailer. Take an E30 off, put one of these on, and get a Pro Tuner.
We're going to have to go over this way a bit. The back wheel, not the front one.